figured it's time I chimed in on this G4 nonsense, because why not? I'm a wannabe gamer. I was aware of G4 back in the day, but I never watched it because, I wasn't doing any gaming at that point. I couldn't afford a system or anything else, and. But like Shlomo, my video gaming days go back to Pong. Yeah, maybe a little pre-Pong. The very first ones that started coming out there. I remember when the first mass market thing was a Magnavox thing where it was just basically just Pong, but you put a plastic sheet over the screen and suddenly you're playing soccer or you're playing hockey or something like that. It's just that's the 70s, guys. That's what we're stuck with. That's why we're kind of weird now. But attempted relaunch of G4, and could it have gone any worse? Okay. There's been some classic responses here. Razorfist, I think, has probably got one of the best ones, because he actually, instead of just saying such, Olivia Munn and Morgan, we're not there to be easy on their eyes, and then immediately cut to a scene of Olivia Munn doing kind of a sexy little lap dance thing with a trout. Okay. And then her and some other hosts recreating. There's a game they do at Sturgis where they'll have a hot dog dangling on a string, they'll dip it in mustard, and the point is the guy's supposed to ride the bike as slow as you can without falling over, and old lady's on the back and she has to grab the hot dog with her mouth and basically deep throat until a bite out of it. Ew. And they did that on the show with Olivia and one of their hosts with an office chair where she's kind of back there, gets the hot dog. Yeah, sure, she's not there to be easy on the eyes. Bull! They showed her bikini photo shoots on that thing, okay? She very much was there for the sex appeal, okay? Because, face it, most of the audience for video games are teenage boys. And college age guys. Yeah, horny. So, it's not so much objectifying a woman. Yeah, it is kind of weird, hey, I fap off you all the time. That is a bit rude, okay? That is crass. No, okay? I don't even do that when I'm on chats with porn stars that I do that to. No, it's just rude. Don't do it, guys. And unsolicited dick pics also. Not a good idea. Never works. Never a good idea. Those days are gone, okay? But, you see, one, it's a total misunderstanding of the male mindset. You find a hot girl that's into video games? To quote George Costanza, that's like discovering plutonium by accident. You hold on to that. You go for it. And that is why G4, because of like Olivia Munn and Sarah Jean Underwood and hot girls that were into this stuff. And I don't know who this Froskin babe is, but and yes, I'm not going to change my term. Yeah. What makes her unbangable has nothing to do with her looks. Her looks aren't that bad. It's her very hideously ugly attitude. And this is one of those cases where, you don't need to bring back the great Adam Sessler back to going, like a harbor seal. Waiting for someone to throw him a damn herring. Meanwhile, wishing half of his audience and apparently good chunks of his family dead. Declaring all Republicans are racist and drink piss. And you clearly don't know any Republicans, do you? Okay? And yes, I'm now one of the proud group of people who have been blocked by Adam Sessler. Okay? For no real good reason. Because I responding to another tweet. How do you go from limited government, low taxes to drinking piss? I had to come. You don't. Clearly, he is drinking so much of the left-wing Kool-Aid that he's hallucinating. Okay, and a few other things. Just how far off the wall he has gone. It's like, and NBC Universal brought him in to supervise the relaunch of this thing. I wouldn't trust him to run a lemonade stand. But that's his audience, okay? That's his attitude towards his own audience. Because I would argue at least half the audience is part Republican, and I think a good deal of the investors are part Republican. I would say more than half the audience, because when Gamergate first started, we're talking probably one of the most apolitical bunches around, video gamers. One of the reasons they get into video games is to get away from this real world crap. And what happens? You start forcing this real world crap into their attempted escapism. You drive them into the waiting arms of the right wing. Because one of the things about the right wing is they promise to leave you alone. There's nothing liberal about the left. Okay? They've even stopped calling themselves liberal. They're progressive now. Progressing towards the edge of a cliff. Okay? Because liberal is supposed to be my liberty, freedom, free to do whatever the hell you want and not be told by the man that you must. You know, so yeah, you don't even call the left liberal anymore. You know, classic liberalism is now the conservative movement. It's less little government as possible, less intrusive, and leaving you the hell alone to live your own life, make your own decisions. That is liberal. That's a dictionary definition of liberal. Giving people liberty, you know. And the left is nothing about that now. They talk about, oh, the Nazis. You're the Nazis. Okay, I'm going to call it right out now. Instead of dancing around the words, you know, no. The left is now, you know, well, as always has been, really. What does Nazi stand for? National Socialist. The National Socialist Workers' Party. They had the same game, you know, pretty much the same game as the communists, only they only want to take over the world. They're satisfied. We're happy with just Germany and other controls we control. We don't need the entire world. We're fine where we are. But I'm so sick and tired of the right wing. No such thing as a right wing Nazi. It's physically impossible. So let's just nip that in the bud right frickin' now. Because the conservative right-wing thought is the complete antithesis of fascism. And that's what we're facing right now. Modern-day fascists and Puritans. And the Puritans, this street has been going on for centuries. It keeps changing names. There's Oliver Cromwell and the Puritans back in the 1600s, and it went on through the Carrie Nation trying to ban alcohol and everything else, and it just keeps morphing and switching sides and whatever. Keep finding an avenue and take it over and destroy it. Basically, anti-fun brigade. You're not allowed to have any fun because you're obviously having a button. That's costing somebody else fun. No, bull. Okay? My enjoying myself in Fortnite does not mean somebody else is dying in a ditch. Okay? They're there for their other reason. It has nothing to do with me. Yeah? Now, I need to check, see if because I might have subscribed, because I was like, did I subscribe to these guys? I don't know. Because I'm starting to get into the games. You know, we're at a point now, if we can finally get into a place, I want a damn PS5, or PS4 at least, or 3. I want something to play some Blu-rays on. I want a gaming console, okay? I still got my Sega Genesis in storage somewhere. Yeah, I played Sonic the Hedgehog back then. I had a few X-Men games. I think I gave a lot of them to my nephew. I have Mortal Kombat and all that. Yeah, I'm not a novice at gaming. I've been out of it for a while. That's kind of why I've lashed on to Fortnite with a vengeance, because I'm trying to catch up for lost time. But it's like, when has it's ever been a good idea to openly insult at least half your audience and figure they're going to come back from what wrong? Not even if Olivia Munn and Sarah Jane Underwood did this crap, would you find an audience coming back? So, no, you're suddenly not very bangable because you got some very hideous ideas. And you totally don't understand your audience. And you make it clear you don't want to understand your audience. And with it being a YouTube thing, it's like the failure will be readily apparent very quickly, and it has become very, very apparent. Because they're hemorrhaging subscribers like a European hemophiliac royal just ran through a rose bush, leaking like a bloody fountain right now. So, I mean, maybe you might have been able to get somewhere in this market, you guys, because a lot of gaming YouTube channels, guys that watched G4 back in the day. And now they're doing it themselves. So in a way, they're kind of playing catch-up. There's plenty of channels out there. Even I've done some gaming stuff. And I never watched G4 back in the day. You know, I'd see a clip here and there of something, but It's just so totally wrong-headed, and it's not getting to the point where it is rather hilarious watching these sanctimonious pricks blow both legs off with not even just shoot themselves in the foot, just start at the kneecap and just blow it off with a shotgun, get both legs and a couple of nuts while they're at it too. Just wonder, is Cesar going to be able to find another job after this, or did he make out well enough with G4 the first time that he can live off the rest of his life being an angry, bitter old twat, you know, screaming at imaginary Nazi clouds, you know? I like to meet the rest of his family. See, who are these Republican ones that he wants dead, but he wants a row of corpses around the table at Thanksgiving. Yeah. But yeah, certain things probably should be left in the past. Like, I remember trying to watch old Underdog cartoons. It's like, I still love the theme song, but the cartoon itself is really not that good. It's not unwatchable. It's almost unwatchable now. Very few different.
Yeah, didn't they try to do like a live action version?
In broadcast school, I did a joke ad for the radio, Underdog the movie, and it's like 2 years later, oh my God, they're actually doing it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I tagged mine off with, coming to a drive-in near you, July 12th, but yeah. If you're trying to build up a channel, that's the thing. They're trying to build up a channel, and the first thing out of the slot is you tell all your you tell your audience you're all a bunch of hypocritical Nazi misogynist pigs. Great start there. Real great start there. That's a great way to get the people behind you by telling them to go screw themselves. And the old man, you don't like it? Don't watch. Fine, I won't. That's the other stupid. When you do that thing, you gave them the option. There's the door. Hey, bye. I was gonna watch for things, but after this tirade, forget it. I can't trust a word you're saying. You're supposed to be a video game show. What has this got to do with bloody video games? So you got some crude idiots in the chat. Ignore them like everyone else does. I get morons in the chat once in a while. Mecca gets tons of them. Yeah. Everybody's got idiots in the chat. Sometimes I've been the idiot in the chat. I'll admit that right now. But if you think this is not... The internet is clearly not the place for you. Okay? Never has been. It's always been fucking nuts out here, okay? But also, remember, for the longest time, the two things keeping the internet afloat, pornography and Star Trek. Any websites devoted to anything else were pretty rare in the early days of the internet. Otherwise, it's all porn or it's all some nerd screaming about Star Trek. Okay. So, and I think it's still probably true. If you're to do a real qualitative search, I think the percentages have not changed that much. Okay. So, a little customer service tip from a customer: if you're trying to build an audience, don't start off by insulting your audience. It's never a good move. Never ends well. If you're lucky, the channel dies. If you're really unlucky, they fire all your starry asses, replace you with people a little more family or a little friendlier to the customer service people. I think Trisha Hirschberger's looking for a permanent gig. She knows better, and I know she didn't vote for my way, but who cares? She doesn't make a big deal either. But she's got the nerd cred out there to take over your slot blondie. And again, how essential is Adam Sessler to this whole operation? Do you really need him back there, moron? Anyway, that's about all I got to say on this thing. I'm trying to repeat myself, so. On a personal front, things are improving slightly, somewhat. It's stabilizing. Let's put it that way. I do some, little model building stuff there because I finally got some decent glue to fix this stupid model I've been fighting with the nacelles on. And I figured since we're out, I'm gonna actually paint the sucker too. And because of those lovely sales at Hobby Lobby, I got a second Starship backing it right up. Although that one I got plans for. That's not going to be an immediate because I'm going to get some replacement parts to not accurize it to the point of making it just correcting some of the flaws they introduced to it when they did the new molds. So I'll get to that when it comes. In the meantime, PayPal links in the description for various support things. PayPal, and also I could use building back the Patreon thing. I need to do some more Patreon stuff anyway. I've been ignoring it, hopefully, badly. I'll talk at you later.